I'll do my best to answer.
So the macerator pump where we started with, that's for your fish boxes. That's not for your
No, that's for the toilet holding tank.
Then the one inside there was for for the pump out?
That takes raw water, flushes the toilet into the holding tank, which is forward.
Yep.
That pump I was holding in the closet, if the valve is in the correct position, empties the holding tank if you're far enough out at sea to where it's illegal to do that.
So there wasn't another one inside there, inside where the head was, underneath the floor.
There is it's part of the head system.
Okay.
So when you flip that switch to flush the head, it just comes on.
Okay.
There is another pump in there that pumps raw water.
Okay.
Through the head into the holding tank, and that other system pumps the holding tank over.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we're recording this.
Oh, you'll be fine.
All right.
It's an easy boat to run. Like any boat, if the wind is blowing like stink and you're trying to get into a marina, it's going to be a handful, and I don't care whether it's 25 feet or 45 feet. If the wind is against you trying to get into a marina, you just got to do the best you can.
Yeah.
There's no magic. Now, if it were a newer boat, it would have a bow thruster in it, which would help a ton. This particular boat doesn't. We looked at putting one in it, but the holding tank would have had to have gone from 50 gallons to 10 gallons. And we said, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we never put one in. Oh, Tom.
Yes.
The three things the surveyor told me about. He found a busted clamp that's been replaced.
Okay. Yep, I remember that.
He said one of the emergency shutdowns didn't work. That's been fixed.
Okay.
And he said there was an airbox gasket leaking on this engine.
Okay.
That's been replaced.
Okay.
So the three things that he found that he told me about have been fixed.
Okay. I know that he was looking at one of the mounts down there was looked loose, but he said it wasn't moving. So.
Well, there's something about the mounts that are supposed to be locked down somehow, and I've never been able to lock them down, and he wasn't able to lock them down
Right.
either. But when he was, remember when we
Yeah.
stopped the lake
Yeah.
and he was doing all that backing up and
Yeah.
going forward, he was trying to see if the engines were going to do this
Yeah.
on their mounts, and they didn't.
And they weren't. So.
So
Okay. This light switch here. Where's the switch for the
what,
light?
the engine room?
Yes, sir.
Over here.
Oh, okay.
And that's another mistake you make, sooner or later.
Leaving it on?
Yeah, you'll leave it on.
Okay.
And they're 12-volt bulbs, so you'll burn out the bulb and you
Right.
just have to replace them.
Okay.
But that's why they've got the shield on them. So if they go, it'll be contained.
All right, this last bowl down here, this is to indicate.
Let you see whether there's any water or debris or nasty stuff coming from the fuel system, into the filter.
Right. Now you've got this this
That's
scrubber
part of the
on
fuel
here
polishing
too.
system.
Okay. All right.
That's supposed to atomize the water
Gotcha. All right.
and put it into the fuel. And we used to have the tanks cleaned about once every 2 years, but since we put this polishing system on there and use it, we haven't had any trouble.
Okay.
There's one of those for the generator and there's one for each engine.
Yep. Yeah, I see one. All right.
How many PSI does the fuel usually run?
It'll run about 60 when you're like this, and it'll be in the teens at idle. On these old Detroit diesels, the injectors are their own fuel pump, so there's no high pressure fuel pump anywhere.
there any other valves for raw water intake
Nope.
that I should know about?
No, sir. The one for the generator is under that floor plate back there. Shut it off. Right
Okay.
under that plate there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's one right here on the starboard.
That's for the air conditioner in case you go to service that strainer.
Yep.
You want to
Okay,
shut
so
that valve off,
Yep.
or else you're going to.
And that's the only one. Okay.
Other than the generator, that's the only one down there.
Right. Right. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
And your water pressure, what is it going to run at? You know?
About 11,
11.
8, 10, 11.
Is that cruising? That's not allowed.
That's good. It'll be lower than that at idle. We put them on there as a diagnostic rather than something to worry about. Because if the temperature gauges are right, you're getting enough water. Behind you, under that rug, there's mechanical oil pressure and temperature gauges that are in the base of that. The rug is covering up some of it. So in addition to the electric gauges on the bridge, you've got mechanical gauges down here.
Bill, what's this valve here for?
Fuel to the generator,
Okay.
in case you got to shut the generator fuel off.
All right.
Now the generator draws, again, out of the port tank.
Okay.
So if you say, gee
Got
whiz,
that.
I'm using fuel faster on the port side than the other side, the generator's been running a long time, that's right, you are, because the generator burns a gallon an hour at load if all 3 air conditioners are on. If only one air conditioner is on and the lights and the refrigerator, it's going to be something less than that. But we figure, for conservatism, it's a gallon an hour. So if you're anchored out for 24 hours and running, you use 24 gallons of fuel.
Like you said, I mean, when you're up and running, you're just running the fridge.
That's what we do to crossings,
Just to
but
be
once
safe.
we get there, because we're diving in and out, we're usually running the generator all the time.
Right.
So, I gotta be honest with you, the inverter hasn't been running about 6 months.
Gotcha.
It's an electronic device. I forgot to check it. Really don't want to use it unless you're going to go cruise. Because at idle, even with the refrigerator and the lights, the engine alternator barely put out enough power to keep up with it. An inverter is only about 70% efficient. So it's going to take 12 volts to make 110 volts out of it. But at about 70% efficiency, which means it's pulling the hell out of the batteries. So, again, your panel here, these are block heaters. That helps the engine start. This is a block heater switch.
How often do you use that down here?
When the weather's cool, we use it all the time. Because I mean, it really.
Cool meaning what? Below
60s?
50, 60?
No, I leave it on in the winter.
Okay.
In the summer is when we turn it off.
Alright.
What it does, it means the engines start like right now, and you don't have to grind on them, and that's starter life.
Okay.
Because those starters are, they're a bitch. They weigh about 60 pounds, and they're a son of a bitch to get off and back on.
So when you're running, you turn those off, or you still keep them on all the time? Yeah.
If they don't need to be on, they're thermostatically controlled. Each one has a thermostat in
Okay.
it. And if it doesn't need to be on, it won't be.
Gotcha.
We leave the washdown pump off unless we're going to use it. Because if it's on and a hose should break, it can sink the boat. So we leave the damn thing off unless we're going to use it. But other people don't. So, you know, it's just kind of what everybody wants to do. There's the oil exchange pump switch if you want.
Okay.
This is kind of that's the engine mains. Can't start the engines unless those are on.
Okay.
That's the fly bridge main. It puts power to all the stuff on the bridge. Speaking of which, if you want to go up there, we can.
All right. Does this AC? Sorry, real quick. Does this energizes all the 110 volts throughout the whole salon?
These do.
Yeah.
This one is this one, that one is that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then this controls individual circuits.
Yeah. Okay.
If you shut these off, you're not putting AC anywhere in the boat.
Right. Okay. All right.
Shut that button on.
Oh, did you get it off or not?
I get it.
Okay, you got it?
Yep. Get another one.
Now again, what we do, we always turn the controls on before we start the engine. The reason for that is if the engines weren't running and somebody turned the controls on and floorboarded the throttle and then turned the controls off before returning the throttles to neutral, they stay wide open. And the son of a bitch will start that way. And it will scare the dog shit out of you because it goes right to 2,500 RPM immediately. Actually 2650. So we always got to push this down and push that forward. If you got 4 lights, that says you're in neutral. Okay? Now, if you want to go active, push that, and that takes it to active.
Now, does that energize the one on the
Yep.
down on the? Okay.
Yep. But you got to transfer it to that.
Okay.
To start the engine, there's an ignition switch under here.
Okay.
That was on. Now, there's 2 push buttons down there, real close together.
Okay.
And this is written down. This is some of the instructions I gave you. The first one starts the engine. The second one stops the engine. Now, if you want to stop the engine and it's running, and you press the start button instead of the stop button, you just send a starter south.
Okay.
So if you're going to stop the engine, it says start, stop. Make sure you're on the second button,
Okay.
because
Really,
it's
very important.
easy mistake to make.
I can see that.
So all you got to do to start them. All it takes. And like I say, to stop them, make sure which button you're on. I usually do this.
Yeah, bump
Yeah.
the other one.
And so just killing the ignition, you don't want to do that.
No,
You
the
want
engines will run. Once they start, they don't need electrical power.
Right.
So unlike the car, if you shut the ignition switches off, all you're doing is killing the instrument power.
Right. Okay.
So once you start them, they don't need electrical power to run.
Right. Okay. How do you?
Managing. All right. Get the spit.
Somebody was asking about the windlass. mouse remote control here. So you got up or down. You got to go kick it off. It won't.
Okay.
That stomp switch up there.
Yep.
See that
Brings it
rubber
up.
switch? That will bring it up.
Mhm.
If you're on the foredeck and you want it up, that'll bring it up, but it won't put it down.
Do you normally use an anchor ball with this?
We don't, but we don't anchor. We usually don't anchor in very deep water where it's required. But that's not to say that, you know, if you wanted to, you could. Life jackets are in there in those forward lockers. I didn't bring the damn key up, but upper radio, a repeater, entertainment system, and there's another GPS here. That green briefcase down below has the big GPS that goes here that we don't leave here for obvious reasons.
Right.
This is the port for it.
Do you know how many line of feet that you have for your anchor?
There's 30 feet of chain on it and 300 feet of line.
Oh, so that's a remote searchlight, huh?
Yeah. Gotta have it energized with its switches down there. All those switches are marked and what they do with everything.
All right. Off and on and reset?
Yep, off and on.
What is this?
That's the horn.
Okay.